Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is something I unfortunately did like 6 months ago. Didn't have a lot of time and I just kind of made it work. And it worked for 6 months. And then it started leaking. I already had a plate underneath it to capture that. And here we go. I pulled it back, ripped it out. We're going to take this to the home of Depot and we're just going to fix it piece by piece, part by part. And I'm going to use a dishwater Y and recreate the entire thing. Pretty simple stuff. And then I'll get a reducer for the pipe. So I'm going to reuse some of the clamps, and that's where it's broken. So now you know. And we just came back from Home Depot. There we go. Got all the parts. So this is going to be fun. And again, I brought it to Home Depot. I built it there. And now we get to rebuild it with glue and make it permanent. And that's the reducer I was talking about, to go from the 3/4 pipe down to, I think it's 5/8 pipe. That's a clear conduit pipe, bendable, whatever you want. And then it goes into the Y for the dishwasher. Pretty cool stuff. And now that we have all the pieces, we can start the setup so we can record what we're doing. And that way we can start cutting the pipes, test fitting, make sure we have all the products we need, and or tools. Because one of the things I like to do is test fit everything, dry fit everything, put it all together, and then double check what I'm doing. Because plumbing, once it's in, it's fairly permanent. I don't do this on a regular basis. I would say once every couple of months if I'm lucky. And usually it's a very important ask of my friends and family. In this case it was work, because we had a leaky pipe, and that was due to a previous fix of mine that was only supposed to be temporary. And I like to say temporarily permanent. In this case, it became more permanent than temporary, being as it took about 6 months for me to get back to working on it. In any case, I thought ahead. I checked it often. I had a pan, and every day I would go in, well, let's just say once a week, let's be honest. And everybody knew about it, and once I had time, I would come back to it. Well, again, 6 months later. Someone should insert a SpongeBob meme that says 6 months later. Right about now. 6 months later. I wasn't actually being serious. Dang. Whoever edited that was pretty awesome. Anyways, moving forward, we're getting back to get everything set up, and then we're going to get to gluing everything in. But before we do that, we want to test fit. So right now I'm just clearing off the stickers, and daggone it, they put the stickers in the worst locations, because it's right where the threads are, or the ribs that keep the reducer in place, and I have to peel those off so that when it gets inserted into the tube, it doesn't inadvertently create a leak. Very important. So they don't really have much choice, honestly, but you know, it would be nice if they did. Like, they could put a zip tie with a label, but that's a lot of extra work. A sticker makes a lot of extra work for us, the DIYers, who get around to doing it. So here we are. Anyways, I left the tube a little bit long, which I wanted to see the best location and or curvature we would need to make it the most effective. That way I could shorten it as needed once it's all installed. So the next step, after adding some fasteners, and I did reuse some of them, didn't know how many I would need, didn't know what the sizes are, so I just got another bag of 10. And could have been a bit more efficient with my money, but it's my work's money, so they can afford to do that. Yes. Hopefully they don't watch this video and hear me say that. Anyways, I'm too lazy to edit that out. We're going to fasten everything, get it all to place, get the reducer into place, and that would be one of the first things we install to do the piping. And then we're just going to carry off of the furnace drain, which is more or less it's more or less used for the air conditioner. Because like during the furnace, during the winter time, you don't use it as much, but during the summertime, you use it a lot, because obviously the humidity in the air gets taken out by the air conditioner. Now, forced air gas systems do create moisture when they burn, the propane or natural gas, depending what system you have. So it does have a little bit, but nothing in comparison to an air conditioner itself. Now we're getting to the point where we need to be gluing. So I use that handy Home Depot paper bag, because they were so concerned about the environment these days, and they're recyclable. Now I get to drop it and lay it out, and we'll be gluing right over top of that. That way no spillage happens. And you know, ABS glue, you're gonna have spillage. It's just one of those things. But we're gonna dry fit it, make sure it all together. We're going to place it into where the sink is and see if we need to make any additional arrangements so that it works properly. Essentially, we just recreate what we already had there, and that's what we're going to do. I did cut a few pieces short, so I chose to make them longer. That way you have better adhesion. And when you glue these things, you want to be able to see a bit of the glue on the outside when you put it all back together. Now, I didn't have a lot of choice in the matter because of the previous people before me, the way they set it up, and I wanted to install everything in such a way that I could just be dropped back into place. With the new Y from the dishwasher, I didn't really have much of a choice, so I had to keep everything as close together as possible so you don't really get that lip of glue going all the way around it. And I did try to use as much glue as possible so that when I pushed everything together, it would push out just a little bit so you could see that it was 100% properly sealed. I did test it and it ended up being 100% properly sealed. It's just better when you have that immediate visual inspection where you get to see everything. And I really do wish I had that because it looks so much better than one solid black pipe. Now, that being the case, everything did work out. I didn't have to break anything apart, redo it, or change anything because we did dry fit. And that is a big, important part of this. Very important. So now we take the door off for two reasons. Makes it easier for the access, and it also makes it easier for us to see, along with my LED safety glasses, which are pretty awesome in this sort of situation. I love those things. When I'm working on the car, working on the bikes, whatever it is, I can add light as necessary as soon as I need it, and vice versa. I can just turn them off. They're really good. I got them on Amazon. If I remember, I'll put the link down below. But now here's where we take the clear pipe and we put it onto the wide pipe for the dishwasher, which is the drain for the sink. And it was a bit long. I didn't quite like it. I want to have a nice smooth curve. I don't want it to be excess, as minimal as possible. So we just put it on, put a couple of ratchet clamps, and we're done. All we have to do at that point is glue it all together. We put it all back together after you take the glass clamps off, and your sink drain is finished. Now, if you look at, remember at the beginning of the video, the sink was not fastened to the drawers? I did that up because I knew I'd be coming back here again. And here's me extending all the pipes just so we have a bit more plastic, and we're actually gluing it now after the dry fit. I could have used a rubber coupler as well on this sort of extent when we put the ABS sink drain back in. I didn't want to do that because I know how my coworkers are, and I didn't want it to be pulled off. That's already happened a couple times before in the previous installation when I redid the sink plumbing for the shop itself. It got pulled off the wall. It was leaking all over the place. They didn't really care about it. Water went everywhere. It's a good thing that it's only a tile floor, metal all around, porcelain for everything, so there was nothing to be affected once it got dry, so no mold could be created. But with this kind of setup, mold gets created, so we have to be very careful with it. That all being said, we're golden. We're done. And here's what the drain looked like, what we went to. The old to the new hotness. The old and busted to the new hotness. Yeah.
Old and busted, new hotness.
Old and busted, new hotness. Old and busted, new hotness. So, thanks for watching, guys. Love these safety glasses with the LEDs built in. And I will catch you in the next one. Oh, wait. We got a test. There you go. New hotness, perfection. With the catch basin right underneath, just in case.